All right, so I took the liberty to add a page at the beginning, and I think that's how we want this laid out. So that's nothing that you did wrong. I just want to make sure I'm looking at it correctly. So there's that single page. So then this would be on the right hand side as we open the book, right? So I think that's how you would have this set up. Okay, so the first thing I notice as I look at this is that there's three different fonts on the first page. And I would adjust that. I would only have two fonts. And as we look at fonts in the class, and I think I told you before that I would send you a list of the fonts. But I have that in a file and I'll send that to you again just to make sure that we're on the same page. I understand there is some like creative control that you have over this, having this in sort of a font that represents Italy to you, I'm sure. So I think there's a little bit more flexibility there, but then the next two I think should be the same font, and photography spelled wrong there. Okay, and then going through your images, I think they're coming together really well. So I think this is a great image to start off with for so many reasons. Like it has the family all together around food, and your child's there and your husband's there. So that's kind of anchoring what we're looking forward to in the future images. And there's just a quaintness about this house, like the chandelier here and the older style, heavier furniture, right? It gives us an idea of where we are, and kind of the love that this house has seen over the years. And then go right into you and your husband and your child, which I think is a great, I think it's one of your strongest images. And I think it's a great image to move right into so we know where the focus is. Then back to the family, back to you and your husband and your child. Now, a lot of these images worked well when they were more desaturated. And then now it seems like they're desaturated and you've added some green to the images. And I would pull back on that, that edit of making them so cool, but on the green side of cool. I think that it's a little bit too much. And I would, I think there's a goal that you have with the desaturation regarding wanting to make them seem older and seem classic and timeless. And that works. But that green addition makes them seem like they're just off on the color to me. And then, yeah, so this is the first time you have two images. And if you can print on both sides of the page, that's great. And it might mean that you want to add variety on some of these other images, like having them span if this is a lay flat book. But having these two images next to each other makes sense. I would make sure that you create a little bit of space between them so it doesn't seem like it's one long image, but we understand that we're looking at two images. And yeah, so adding a little bit of space on either side probably in order to be able to achieve that. I just think this is so unique, that this is like a family event, this like dividing up of the meat. So I love that image. Okay, and then these two images paired together I don't think work as well. So the first two images that you had paired together were about making wine. And this image looks like it's part of that process as well. But then these two images don't make as much sense putting them together. So if you wanted to include another set of images paired together, and you might actually want to include more than one set, I would include the image that is at that same place. This image could go back, sorry for all the clicking, with these two, because that makes more sense for them to be together. And I would probably have, if you're going to have images paired together, if you're going to have something different in your images, you just don't want one or two of them like that. You want about a third of them like that. So take that into account, and I would pair more images. And then I think this is your final image. Yeah, so this is, I think, one of your strongest images, and I think it's a great image for you to finish on. family has and always will be the biggest driving factor for my life. I myself come from a very large family. Growing up, we were always at someone's house over the weekend, or when we had school vacation. As I got older, that happened less and less. When I got married to my husband, this connection to his family was similar to mine, except no matter how many years went by, no matter how old everyone got, family was and is important to them. As mine and my husband's small family has started to grow from 2 to 3 and soon to be 4, the meaning of family has changed for both of us. I think that's working well. You're not mentioning anything about the family being Italian, and I wonder if that's something that you want to include, or that's a given from the images, or do you want us to understand how the family being Italian has anything to do with it? You're including that in the title, so I wonder if you want to include it also in the artist statement. And then the artist statement, if I'm flipping through the book, would be on this side, not this side, right? If I were adding a page, I would add a page on this side so that it would be on the right side as we're looking through it. And then I don't know that I would have it, what is that called? Like center justified. I would have it on one side probably, or I would have it on the left side, right? Left justified. Okay, this is really coming together. This is so exciting to see. You've put so much work in this over the years, and seeing this turn into a fine art approach to a family, like a documentation of a family, is really beautiful. So a couple of adjustments I can still see there, but overall it's coming together great.